In this tutorial, I will walk you through every step I used to make this hamburger. Let's go! We'll start off by creating the bottom bun, so we'll go Shift A, Mesh, and add a circle. In the small Add Circle menu, change vertices to 16. Just tap to go into Edit mode, press F to fill, E to extrude upwards, then Set. Leave Edit mode, press Ctrl 3 to subdivide, go back into Edit mode, go into Face Select, select the top and the bottom face, press I to inset. Press Ctrl R to add a loop cut and move it up. Right click and shade smooth. Now we'll add the salad, press Shift A, Mesh, and add a circle. Press G and Z to move it up. Go into Edit mode, press F to fill and I to inset. Go into Vert Select and select every other vertex in the circle. Press G and Z, move them up. Press the opposite ones. And G and Z, move those down. Press A to select all, E to extrude upwards. Leave edit mode, press Ctrl 3 to subdivide. Right click, shade smooth. And then we'll go into edit mode, add a loop cut to the side as well. Like that. And then we'll press G and Z and move it on top of the bun. There we go. Then we'll add the burger, press Shift A, add another circle, press D and Z, move it up, press go into edit mode, press F to fill, E to extrude up. Here you can play with the thickness. Leave edit mode, press Ctrl 3 to subdivide, go back into edit mode. Select the top and bottom face, press I to inset. There we go. And then maybe add a loop cut in the middle there as well. And auto smooth, and G and Z, and move that down. Now we'll add a piece of cheese, or gonna make the burger a bit higher. And we'll add a plane. Press D and Z to move it up. Go into edit mode, right click, subdivide once, twice, 3 times. Go into vert select. Select corner vertices, press proportional editing, and then G and Z, and move the corners down a tiny bit. With a scroll, you can increase or decrease the size of the proportional editing. And make it like that. Press A to select all, E to extrude it up. And then leave edit mode, Ctrl 3. To subdivide it, right click, shade auto smooth, and then once again in the side add a loop cut. And G and Z, move it down. Seems a tiny bit big, so go back into edit mode, press A to select all, S and Shift Z, scale it down on the X and the Y axis. There we go, and then move it back up a tiny bit. Now we'll add some tomatoes, press Shift A and add a circle. Move it up, go into edit mode, fill it, scale it down a bit, turn off proportional editing. Press E to extrude it up, press I to inset, press E to extrude it down, press I to inset again, and then E once again to extrude it up. Leave edit mode, Ctrl 3 to subdivide, go back into edit mode, and then we'll add some supporting loop cuts. Select this face here as well and inset it. And I think that looks pretty good. Maybe make it a bit higher, select all, scale with S and then Z. And then there we go. Right click and auto smooth. Then we'll go into top view. And I see now that I can make mine a tiny bit bigger. Then we'll go there. Then we'll move it to one of the corners. There we go, and then with Alt D, we'll make a link duplicate and place that one in the other corner. Select both and then move them down on top of the cheese. And here we can also play around a bit with rotation. So if you select one of them and press R twice, and rotate it a tiny bit to make it look a bit better. Then we'll add some onion. So once again, we'll add a circle, move it up, go into edit mode, scale it down, fill it with F, press I to inset, and then with the inside circle selected, press X and delete the face, press A to select all, E to extrude up, S to scale down, and then G and X and move it to the side a bit. And we can add a loop cut there and a loop cut in the top. Leave edit mode, press Ctrl 3 to subdivide and then shade auto smooth. It's a bit high, so I'm gonna scale it down on the Z axis a tiny bit. Like that, and then we can rotate it, go into top view and place it in the corners. We'll make a duplicate again with Alt D, rotate it once again, select both of them, move them down, and then here we want to rotate it so it looks a tiny bit like it's lying on top of the tomato. There we go, and then push it down. And then we'll add another piece of salad on top of this. So we'll select the bottom salad, duplicate it with Alt D, and then move that up. And then we can rotate it a tiny bit. And then move that down a tiny bit. There. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. And then we'll add the top bun. For that, we'll add an UV sphere. Press G and Z, move it up. Go into edit mode, go into front view, activate X-ray, and then with verge select, select the bottom half, press X and delete the vertices. Select the bottom vertices, press E to extrude down a tiny bit, F to fill the bottom face, and then I to inset it. We can deactivate X-ray and then leave edit mode. We'll go back into edit mode, scale it down on the Z axis, and then leave edit mode and subdivide it with Ctrl 3. Right click, auto smooth, move down, and then here you can see if you want to increase the height again or not. I'm gonna increase mine a tiny bit more, like that. And then we'll rotate it a tiny bit, just like that. And then we'll add the seeds. For the seeds, we'll add a plane, move it up, go into edit mode, scale it down, and then scale it up in the Y axis. Add a loop cut with Ctrl R, move it back a bit, press Ctrl B to bevel it. And there we go. And then we'll select these two verts and scale them down on the X, and then we'll scale these down to on the X. Select all, extrude them up, and then with in edit mode, select everything and move it down a tiny bit. And then we'll leave edit mode, press Ctrl 3, go back into edit mode, add a loop cut and move it down. And then now we can adjust the shape a bit, it's a bit too long. There we go. And then shade auto smooth. Go into top view, go into your snapping menu here in the top, select face project, align rotation to target and project individual elements. Activate it with shift tab or click on the icon, and then we can place our seeds around. I see it's still a bit too big, so scale it down again, and I think that looks much better. So I'll go back into top view, and then we can just move it around, and then we can duplicate them with Alt D. Just place them around our top bun. Now we'll adjust the rotation of them. So press R and Z twice, and then just rotate them around so they're not all in the same direction. There we go. Okay, we'll go into front view, and then press Shift A and add a camera. Go into camera view, press G and Z twice and move it down. Don't forget to turn off snapping and then move it backwards. Then we'll go to our output settings, change the resolution to 1920 by 1920. Press G and Z, move the camera up, and then RXX to rotate the camera. And I want a bit of a top view of the hamburger, just like that. And then we can select the whole burger and then rotate it a tiny bit, like that. And then I'm gonna move our salad a bit, like there, so it looks a bit better. Okay, then we'll add the background. So press Shift A, add a plane, move it down, scale it up. Go to edge, select the back edge, press E and Z and extrude it up. And then select the same edge again, press Ctrl B to bevel it, and then use your mouse wheel to increase the bevels. Go out of edit mode, right click, shade auto smooth. And still move it backwards, and there we go. And I'm gonna get a bit closer on the burger, just like that. We'll go into render settings, change the render engine to cycles, device to GPU compute, color management, change the look to medium high contrast. And then now we'll go into rendered view and we'll start adding some lights. We'll start off with an area light. Press G and Z, move it up. Press period to change your pivot point to 3D cursor. Press R, X, and 45, and then R, Z, and 45. Then we'll go into our light settings, and we'll change the power to 400. And we'll change the color to FF9664. And then we'll move it back with G and Z twice. And then we'll add another light, which we'll do with another area light, move it up, and then same thing, RX 45, RZ 45 minus, and then we'll change that to 500 watt, and we'll change the hex code to FFBB9A, and then we can move that back a bit as well. Now I'll change the world color settings before we add materials to our piece. So go to your world settings and then we'll change the color to E7E4D3. This will make the piece look very, very light. Okay. And we can adjust the light a bit, maybe move this a bit closer so we see it on the right there. Then we'll use another area light, which we'll add that one later for the background. Now we'll start adding some materials. So we'll go to our shading tab and we'll go into camera view, and then we'll go into rendered view. And then we'll start with bun, select the bottom bun, click new. Let's call it bottom bun. And we'll add a nice gradient to this one. So we'll add a node, so it's Shift A, search texture coordinate, and then Shift A, search mapping node, and we'll need a separate X, Y, and Z, and then last we'll add a color ramp. So we'll connect the texture coordinate to the mapping to the separate XYZ, and then we'll add the XYZ to the color ramp and the color ramp to base color. Just like that, and then we'll have our gradient. So then we'll start adding some colors. We'll start up with the darker brown color. So if we select the black color here, and I'll zoom in a bit so you guys can see it. There we go. Zoom in, and then we'll change this color to 834629. You can use your own colors here if you want to. Click on the plus to add another color in the middle, and we'll add a bit of a lighter color there, which will be C36707. And then we'll add the lightest color, which will be FFE8AC. Just like that. And then I'm going to move up the the medium color to around 0.65. Yeah, I think that looks kind of good. Then we'll select the top bun and then shift click on the bottom bun, press Ctrl L and then link materials. And then with just the top bun selected, duplicate it here, make a copy of it, and then we'll just turn around the light and the dark one. And then we'll play around a bit with the settings again. Just change it so you have it the way you like it. Maybe have this at 0.3, I think looks kind of good. Add this at 0.8. There we go. Then we'll start adding the colors for the salad. Select the salad, press new, call it salad. And then we'll change the base color to 3DB961. And I also want to change the roughness to 0.35. And I'm going to do the same for these buns. Change the roughness to 0.35 here as well. Okay, then we'll add the burger, add a new material, call it burger. And then we'll add a few nodes, which will be the noise texture, a color ramp, and then a texture coordinate, and a mapping node. And then we'll connect them to each other. Just like that. And then we'll change the scale on the mapping of X. We'll increase it to 2. Seems kind of nice. I like the way that looks. We'll change the colors on the color ramp. C4503E is going to be my dark color. And then we'll change the other one to 6A1800, which will actually be my dark color. I meant light one on the other one. There we go. I think I'm gonna increase the scale a tiny bit more. I'll change it to 3. It looks kind of nice. Okay, then we'll add the color for... Oh, change the roughness to 0.35 before I forget. Select the cheese, add a new material, call it cheese. Change the base color, change the roughness. And then we'll select our onion. Name the new material onion, change the base color to DD73D6, change the roughness to 0.35, and the tomato, add a new one, call it tomato, change the base color to E73731, we'll change the roughness to 0.35, and then we'll change the color of the seeds, select the seed, add a new material, call it seeds, change the base color and change the roughness. Okay, so now we have to change the background color as well. Select the background, call it background, and change the base color. Just like that. Okay, now I'm just going to add another light to the background. This is optional, but I like the way it looks. So we'll add a light, an area light, press RX45, and then GY, and then GZ. Move it up a tiny bit towards the background as well. And then we'll change that to 400. And we'll change it to a disc. And then it gives us a nice backlight. Let me move it back a tiny bit. Just like that. And then that's our final product. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If anything was unclear or you have any other questions or requests, please let me know in this comment section. If you decide to post your artwork on Instagram, tag me in it since I'd love to see your work. If you found this tutorial helpful, consider supporting the channel by subscribing and liking the video. And remember, the more you practice, the better your 3D skills will become. Play around with the things you learn. Thank you for watching and good luck.